Does your country require you to do any civil service? Yes, in Austria, every male is required to do 6 months of civil service whenever they finish high school. You can choose between military service or Red Cross service, both of which are 6 months. Um, if you choose to do Red Cross, you're not allowed to own a gun for the rest of your life. And they have a lot of people that tried to get out of military service, and there was a big controversy with within the parliament because they wanted to get rid of the army and make it not mandatory for all males to attend it. But they just decided that they would keep the army. What is the national language of your country? The official language is German, and it is the Austria German is a little different from the regular German. It's comparable to British English and American English. There are a bunch of different words, and it's basically a different dialect. In the south and east of Austria, a bunch of other languages are common. For example, where we border Hungary, a lot of people speak Hungarian just because there are so many Hungarians living in Austria. And the same is happening with Italian in the south, because there are a lot of Italian population, so Italian and in some places Slovakian is spoken as well. And in some of the towns, the names of the towns are actually written in more than one language because there's such a big population of other ethnicities. What does the traditional family look like? The traditional family looks much like the one in America. I think the average sibling number of siblings is somewhere around 1.5 per family, but I feel like there are a lot more people that get divorced in Austria than there are in the US. Maybe it's because it's more socially acceptable. And a lot of people also are married more than once. And it is not uncommon for people to have kids but not be married. I would also say that the average age to get married is much higher in Austria. If I had to guess, it's somewhere around 28, 29. But it's very rare to see people get married in their early 20s. What does the inside of a typical home look like? The typical Austrian house has a lot of wood furnishings, and there are a lot more people living in flats in Austria than there are in the US. I would say it's because it's a pretty small country and land is really expensive, so not many people can afford a house. So there are a lot of people living in apartments, but also in apartments you typically see a lot of wood, a lot of I don't fucking know. People don't have as much decor, I'd say. Like, not as many pictures hung up. It's more like sterile. Because that's what I noticed first when I came to the south, especially. That a lot of people have a lot of stuff on the wall, which they generally do not in Austria. What are the major sports played? The one sport that absolutely dominates the media is soccer, which is called football in Austria, of course. This is almost everyone grows up playing soccer at some point, even though Austria is really, really bad at it. Some of the other big sports are tennis, horseback riding, and winter sports are really popular, with skiing and ski jumping being the most popular, and Austria also has been really successful in those. At what age can you legally consume alcohol? The legal age to consume alcohol is 16 for beer and 18 for liquor. And while this might seem really young for people, I think it's actually a pretty good system because kids are first allowed to drink when they still live with their parents, so the parents have some kind of control over them and can somehow teach them responsibility with alcohol. And I also think it's a good idea to be able to consume beer earlier than liquor because it's much harder to get very, very intoxicated off beer than it is for liquor. So by the time most kids go to college and live by themselves, they've already learned to be responsible with alcohol, and there are not as many binge drinking or alcohol related deaths in Austria. Bye, Isabel.